everyone. Okay, so we are live here at Milton Artists Guild, and I'm going to just have this camera on the table so you can see what I'm doing, and I'll talk to you as we go along. I am still laying out the fabrics. So I have all different types of fabrics, and some of you who follow me, you've seen these before. And most of these I filtered through with a cotton fat quarters and that type of fabric. So this one is actually a canvas. It's like a canvas. And so I'm just going to keep organizing things here and we will get started in a very few minutes. With the table looking presentable. And because we're going to be focusing on crazy quilts, I brought some of these tiny little pieces that are cut in very obscure ways. So that's crazy quilt. It's not you cutting out the rectangles or the squares, but look, there's some rectangles and squares here. There's a flower I had cut out at one point, and I put it to scrap because I wasn't sure that that's what I wanted to use. So that's the first project we're going to start off with today. And we can scoot to other projects. I'd like to very much lay out a heart. This is a smaller heart, and this is the crazy quilt heart. And once I lay out the crazy quilt design on this heart, I brought my sewing machine, so we should be able to stitch it together. However, I will be stitching it together with visible stitching, sashiko stitching. So we get that effect of Boro inspired. So we're going to be designing this in a few minutes. And I just want to share with you first, before we do that, we get one of these small, the backing. Now I didn't bring my iron with me, so the ironing and backing I'll probably do later today and have and show you that on another video. But look at this. This is a table mat. So this is, recycled. I did not make this, even though you can see the visible stitching there. This is not something that I made. It's something I got at the thrift shop, and it's just beautiful cotton fabric. And I was testing to see how the heart would look against it, and it looks adorable. So this would make a wonderful placemat for Valentine's Day. And today, even though I'm going to be adding a lot of fabric, I'm going to be filling this up with fabric. You don't have to do that. You can create your heart by, look, you can create it by even just putting a flower on there and then writing in a permanent ink on here, a message or words that you love and that you want to convey. So there's lots of ways that you can make your table heart. But I tested it against this first, and I really, really like it against this particular table mat. And then I tested it against this. And like I said, these do have to be ironed, and that's something that I'll be doing later on. But to just see what this looks like. So this one I really like. I'm going to put the camera down so you can see how each of these look. That's really adorable. And with this backing, now remember, with this, we have our base, and then we have our design we're going to design. That will be our top layer. And then we have our backing. This is our backing. Now, if you wanted to, you could cut all around that heart and stitch your backing to the back of the heart. And or you can leave it on this little table mat like that, which is just adorable. I really like that. I might go with this one. And I may hang this on my door. So we got that one. And now there's a pink table mat here. This is very pretty. Okay, so let's see how the heart. Now we're gonna test these after too and see how they look after we lay out our design. See if you're able to see that. That looks very pretty. Look, it looks adorable even without our design. So that's the pink. And then, also looking at the size of the heart and the table mat, these are all about the same size. Let's see what the measure is. Yeah, so this is about 16 by 16. This is about 16 by 16. It's a beautiful, perfect square. It looks adorable in the middle of that. That looks super cute. Whoops, get my tape measure. There's no way to bring all your scrap fabrics in a neat manner. Here, I folded them all and they still are in a pile. Now this is another cotton tablecloth. Yeah, I mean you can tell. That's beautiful. So this, when we put the heart, if we choose this one to be a table mat or to be a wall hanging, you see here we have the edging here is already part of this recycled fabric. That's beautiful. And that's okay. You can leave that there. By the time we're done with this would be a whole nother piece. Now I'm not crazy about this backing. So far, I think I'm gonna go with this table mat. And then I had just one more I wanted to show you the differences here. This one, look, this one is picking up every single piece of tiny fabric possible. And it's a good size. I mean, but it doesn't have the substance that if I was to hang this on the wall, the heart necessarily. So I think so far, when I retest after we do our design, because we're going to start our design shortly. And today, look, I brought this along with me. I had started this on another video, and this is where I was showing you how to do the seed stitching and how to do different stitches in each of your little patches. So that's how I kind of started that with you, and then I did a little bit more, and then I placed it over to the side. So we may revisit this today if we have time, because I want to make more um little coin bags, and I'll show you the setup where my things are set up today. So this one I'm not going to go with. So I'm going to put this to the side, and and before we attach that, we would iron it, and then we're going to keep this out. This is that we would table mat type deal, or a piece of fabric, and so we're going to keep this one out. And this one I'm not as crazy about as I was. So I put it back on there. But see, because this particular piece, the difference with this piece that we're making today is we're designing the heart. So like some of my work, I will design the backing too. Like the backing will have maybe stitches like this. This I'm using for my needles there, or it will have other patchwork. But this piece I'm not doing like that. This piece, the backing is either going to be shaped like the heart and a direct piece of the heart, or it's going to complement the heart where it's placed and be part of that piece. And, and then I say that, and then when I get to that point, sometimes I will end up doing sashiko stitching on the backing. So, but we'll see. So we'll keep these to the side, and these we're going to put away so we have a little bit more room here. And, and when people come in today, I want to be able to show them things. So, and I won't have the live stream going the entire time because, that will just it won't be conducive. I'll have to get up. Have to get up and get coffee at some point. Well, maybe I can do that and leave this going for a little bit. But I figured this would be about an hour stream, so we can at least uh, get our design done on our crazy quilt heart. And with the crazy quilting, again, just like 4-row, you can place these pieces. I'm just going to show you because I'm going to have to turn this part this way when I'm designing. But for now, let's say you're doing your boro, and I do want to do a boro piece today. But look at this piece. So, this is going different directions. So, and like when we did this other video, I was showing you the idea of putting your crazy quilting together. Now, overlapping or fitting them together a lot of my books, and I love these historic books on historic quilts. And I saw a crazy quilt where the pieces were spread out. Look, like this. They were all spread out. And it's beautiful. And I'm trying to figure out on some of these pictures and photos I get in these books how I can share them with you. But I art, and this will be the top piece. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to do my stitching, and I may do a stitch at a time. I may do some running stitches, but I will get my pieces in place, and then we're going to go to the machine. So we're going to get started on designing. So these are, I just took a really big bag of all my quilted pieces, all of my pieces. And I couldn't find the big bag. But you know what? There's a lot of tiny pieces in this little bag right here. And they may just fill up this heart. So between your pieces, whatever way you want to do. So what I'm going to do, and I'm going to turn my heart this way, and then I'll turn it back around for you. But what I'm going to do is kind of test the waters a little. I do want to cut some of these pieces I have over here because I love this design. Oh, and I want to show you this. Show you what I made here. I really don't want to take these apart, but this is a heart. These are little mug rugs. And what I did, and you can do these two different ways. I'm going to show you on here. I was working with you on these, and on this one, the stipple stitching is showing in the back. As I went straight through, it did the top stitching straight through to the back, and that's an artistic style. This one, I did the stitching. I did no sashiko stitching here. And then I put my back to front hem, and and then I just simply stitched the hem on. So the back is has the backing, and that's how we did that. And that is how I did these. I gave these a backing. Now, the back to front hem here is it takes a little practice, but I like it. But you also have to have enough fabric so you're able to use the back to front for all your hems. So I personally, using recycled fabrics, I personally like this one, um and it just seems a little simpler to do the stipple stitching, and I like if I do back to back hem. So anyway, um I'm showing you those because those are out on display over here. So, and those I consider Boro inspired. And I use the word inspired. I use Kiwandi inspired. I don't use Kiwandi techniques or Kiwandi method. I may use that word method, but I'm borrowing um, from some of the way that they make their Kiwandi quilts or their Boro quilts. I am not using their full technique or their full method. So I'm always using that word inspired, or I'm using the word mixed. I think it's really important because I don't want to give the idea that, I'm doing an authentic Boro. So, but because of that, on some of these pieces, if I don't have like a tiny little piece design here that I want, what I do is cut. And that's what I'm going to do with this piece. And I'm just going to put this down. We'll just go ahead and get a few more. Now, see, this is good because now also with Crazy Quill, the reason they call it, you kind of see I gave that little shape. The reason they call it Crazy Quill is um, like I'm just going ahead and cutting rectangles, but that's not what the crazy quilts are. The crazy quilts are really remnants. They're made up of more of these shapes. So I am now what I'm going to do is I go around the heart. If the fabric is overlapping the edge of the heart, that's fine. That's totally fine because after you stitch them in place, and I'm going to pin, I'm a big pinner. So after I stitch them in place with a stitch, some running stitches, and then I go to my machine, what I'm going to do is just trim the heart just right before that. So we will start up here. And being a heart for Valentine's Day, I am going to keep my eye out for some pink. I want it to be bright and cheerful. I want some designs in it like this. And these I'm kind of manipulating a little bit, but that's okay too. And we're just going to take our time because we have time. We have today. Now with and this is why I say I'm careful about using the word inspired, because when you do a true Kiwandi technique, for example, if I go around, I'm going to start on the outside. So that would be staying true to how they do Kiwandi. If I'm inspired by Kiwandi, I might say, yeah, I want to go around, but guess what? I want to start from the middle. And that's not the true technique. The true technique is starting out outside on the edge of the piece. Now with Boro, you will see actually Boro, authentic Boro, you will see actually authentic boro is mending, right? So to stay true to the meaning of boro and creating boro, you're mending. But if I'm doing boro inspired, which I'm doing, I am borrowing the method of stacking my fabrics. So I may decide that I just want to make, let's say, a small piece of fabric stacked like that. Now, I'm going to tell you, as I focus on this, I envision one day mixing crazy quilting with a Boro inspired method. But today, so we're going to focus on our crazy quilt. So I kind of like this piece, but I feel like it's a little big, and I really I don't know if I'm crazy about the yellow. So what I'm going to employ now to design this, because if I overthink it, I'll be going back and forth forever. So I'm going to employ what they call the soulful designing, which is the Kawandi way. So, and it's the Boro way. So I'm inspired by that, and I'm just going to pick what I gravitate towards. So we're going to start with that. And I like this, so I'm going to start there. And some of these, look, they're already cut in shapes, you can see. And so I'm using the Kawandi method of soulful design, selecting, not the Kawandi of starting at the edge. Because we're doing a crazy quilt, so we're kind of going to be all over the place. I like that. Look at, there's a lot of blues so far I have here, and a lot of leaves. I must have, I think I had cut leaves when I was making the lotus. Yeah, here I even have a like a little dragonfly, but I'm not gonna. Yeah, I mean, you could put that. Crazy quilts, you'll find flowers and dragonflies. We could put the dragonfly, but if we put the dragonfly, we want to put it, I think I want to really put this on something so it stands out. So it could go like that. Some of these shapes are going to be a little bit of a challenge because they're just all, and this has fringes, which is beautiful. The fraying. That I might couple that with another piece so it's standing out. Now, the other thing that you can do um, is rip your fabric. So they did a lot of that with the crazy quilting, and to get an effect, to get a more authentic effect. So I think that's very cool. So I love this. This is beautiful. This is the challenge as you place your pieces. You're like, oh, I can't cover every piece. That's okay, because these can be cut later on. They could be trimmed. They have to be trimmed because we're going around the piece. And the whole idea of crazy quilting is zero waste. You're using up everything. So you're using up all of those pieces that you would be throwing away. So now I have stacks here of different color fabrics because I pulled a really tiny little bag. Like I said, this was the bag. And it wasn't full. It was just like a teeny tiny bit, an awful lot of leaves too. I mean, I could actually pull those leaves out and use them in another project, but this the whole idea is that we are having zero waste. So we know there's 92 million pounds of fabric in the landfills. So this helps a little bit, like one little Boro inspired piece at a time, or one quilt at a time. Hi, how are you? I'm talking in there, but I don't. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm doing live demo today. Just enjoying your Friday. It's a beautiful day. So now the beautiful thing about using the fabrics is you can see here, I have contrasting colors. Beautiful. Now, I wouldn't go to the store and pick this out or this out. These are thrift shop finds. These are pieces mixed in together. Um, because I worked on other projects and they are just going to pop. Now, the other thing that happens too with the crazy quilting is you're getting these shapes. And I'm not manipulating that. That's just the way it is. That's the beauty of the crazy quilting. And I am going to keep these over here to the side and see how far we can get with our scraps. So I really like this. Now, and this is another beautiful thing you can do with the crazy quilting is you can employ different um, ways of designs within this design. So maybe I have a lot of little odd shapes over here. Maybe I have the longer strips here. Maybe I do use a little Boro inspired method and kind of do some stacking like that. That's adorable right there. This is a seam. This is a seam. Now, I'm not like just throwing these on. I'm gravitating towards what I think is really pretty, what I like to look at because that's very calming for me to do that way. So now here's yellow. I love yellow. It just makes everything pop. Now, the one thing I'm being mindful of is at my edges here. This is a really tiny piece. So I might want to center this a little more. I actually like this idea against the yellow and blue. Um, Here's another strip. Now, if I had enough of these strips, I could do the entire heart like that. Yeah. Here's another seam, a seam of a piece of clothing. And here's this flower I wanted to use. This piece of fabric frays. It frays pretty, oh, actually, I'm going to share something with you. I found a method of creating fringes for a piece of fabric. You put this in your sewing where you want your fringe. So it's parallel right to the edge. And then you start pulling out your threads. And it will begin to fray. And as you keep pulling and you pull all the way to your border of your stitches, and you have a fringe. You're creating a fringe. Some people might know that, some might not. So I'm gonna put that back down. And I'm going to leave that piece because the idea is this is beautiful. I kind of want this up here. And the idea is to to have zero waste. So we will have cut down the amount of waste by the time we trim around this. I notice I tend to be doing the employing or being inspired by the Kawandi way. I'm not using a true Kawandi technique because I keep jumping back and forth, and I won't be using the Kawandi stitching either. I will be using running stitches and some seed stitching maybe. This is very pretty. I really like that. And if you have a really thin, small fabric and like this one, I feel like this one's just too small and thin to put by itself. I'm doubling it up with another piece of fabric. And here, this is pretty thin too. So I'm going to put that right over these other pieces of fabric. And then I've just given it some substance. This is a darker piece. So I'm going to use this whole piece, but I am going to cut it. You see, I'm not using a Boro-inspired method here, and I'm not using Kawandi. This is crazy quilting because I'm jumping, just trying to fit my pieces together. So it's a Western quilting technique and brought here to the United States. And it was first seen in the 1800s, the mid 1800s. And then it really got popular in the 1950s. Hello. How are you? Good. You got bringing your art in?
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Well, congratulations. Yeah, I'm working on crazy quilting.
Yeah.
And I do these are Boro inspired, and I do Kawandi inspired hand stitching and machine stitching. So I'm mixing it up.
Yeah.
But the goal is to use all recycled fabric.
Yeah. Trying to work get my stash of fabric
What?
too.
What do you see?
Oh, I do photography.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I have bringing in to the show yesterday.
Yeah.
So there's Easter stuff.
Yeah. Finding everything. Oh, aren't those beautiful?
But,
Oh, I love the hearts. Oh, yeah.
New one this year. So I did like a collage of
Beautiful.
found parts,
Isn't it amazing how the heart is in nature?
Yeah.
Like,
Everywhere. Not in nature, like just always here. So
now I'm on YouTube. Do you want me I have it down, so not to show people.
Yeah.
Do you want me to show it or no? You're not comfortable? I can show it on my YouTube channel.
Show that?
Yeah, I'm live right now, but I have it down so people aren't self-conscious.
Yeah.
But and now what is your name?
Jessica Remy.
Jessica Remy. This is Jessica Remy's work. She just came in. She's an artist here at the Milton Artist Guild. And see, this is the wonderful thing about being at the Guild. We get to talk to other artists. That's beautiful.
You.
Wow. Yeah, well, you're going to set up. That's great.
I'm going to restock my cards.
Oh, you're going to restock?
Yeah, I have some out for
Way to go. That's even better. I ended up bringing it. This because I brought my sewing machine. I'm like, oh, that's wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing. I didn't expect to get another artist, fellow artist. I try to be neat with this, and it just ends up I start picking through it, and it's like,
yeah,
there's no way. And but yeah, I'm like doing the crazy quilting is difficult for me because you're kind of like placing together obscure pieces. And with the Boro, you've got the squares and the rectangles. And then with the Kawandi, it's more squares and rectangles and you're going around. So there's methods there. And so this one I'm kind of like jumping off.
So do you just place all of the pieces around and then you like quilt it into place?
Yeah. What I'm doing with this piece, I do them all different, but with this piece, I'm going to pin these and then I'm going to give them some seed stitching or running stitch, visible stitching. So I want some visible stitching in here, get them a little bit in place, get a backing to this, and then sew it. So, or I can sew it, do the stipple stitching, and then place it. I'm thinking on this one. I might place it on this one. It looked pretty. We were testing out earlier what the heart would look like on this. This is a piece of recycled fabric. That's it. Or I can cut this to the heart and then stitch. So yeah, I'm very in the moment and creating, and I was it's like if I'm teaching a class, I can give them everything they need to know. But when it's me and I have to plan, I mean, I had to bring all this, and I was trying to. I'm like, oh, I have to bring that all because I don't know what I'm. But yeah, it ends up kind of like this. This is the stipple stitching, or visible stitching with the machine is called free form stitching, and with Boro Sashiko, it's called Sashiko stitching. And with Kawandi, it's Kawandi because with the Kawandi, there's a certain method to lay out everything, and then your stitching follows from the outside in, and it stays in a pattern of whatever it is, a square, circle. At Boro, you can do this one. This is Boro. These are the seed stitches, and this is just work in progress, but this is you'll see in the back my little coin, it's going to be a little coin bag when we're done with it with a little snap. And that's all denim. It was a pair of jeans at one point. But you can use different visible stitching, and it's not perfect stitching. It's not supposed to be, which is what I love about it. Yeah. I love it. Great. Yeah. Thanks for sharing. You're welcome. Thanks for stopping by my table. Okay, so we're going to continue decorating or designing, I should say, this heart. We're going to design this heart. Hello, how are you? Enjoying yourself? Am I in your way? Well, no, we're just looking right now. Okay. Where's that? Do you have to borrow it? Oh, is it still over there? Okay, so see, this piece is just a regular square, and guess what? It still constitutes crazy quilting because the shapes include all shapes. And the beautiful thing about crazy quilting is that your eye is going to go in 10 different directions And that's when you know you have really made a beautiful, crazy quilt. And as an artist, it really lets you be creative because you've got all these different shapes you can fit together like a puzzle piece, or you can design it and manipulate it into a more perfect design of some kind if you want to. I definitely want some yellow in here. So we're going to take a look at this. I'm going to put this up, make sure no one's behind me, and keep this like that. But this is what this is looking like now. It's coming along. We'll put this back down. This is beautiful, this color right here. Put that up a tiny bit, sorry. This is just lovely. This really pops. I want to fill that space. This is kind of how I'm doing it. I'm having my eye follow these spaces, and I want to fill those spaces. And then I'm letting the feeling of the color guide me. And that's how I'm doing this. Beautiful flower. I'd love this to be maybe even centered a bit. That's just lovely. This one's really wrinkled. Like I didn't bring my little iron because being in public and with people kind of walking around, I really did not want it. But so I'm just kind of taking that piece off, and I'm looking over my other stack here. There's some colors that I really, really want to be part of this project, and this is one of them. This because this is a Valentine heart, so I really want the pinks. I want the purples. I want the beautiful colors. And these are all scraps we're working with. So this is another beautiful, beautiful fat quarter there. This is actually vintage right here. That's vintage. You see that one a lot. I had gotten a huge piece of that fabric and I've been using it. And here's more of this one. And I put that down and then I covered it. So I might use that a little bit more. And so I'm going to put this, I'm going to actually make these a little bit smaller. And this one, put it over there. I'm not crazy about that piece. I'm really not. That one I'm going to take out. This is a good shape going on. You kind of let your eye follow these shapes a little bit. And when you have layering, look, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 layers right here. If you can see this. When the more layering there, it's in Boro Sashiko, or it's in your crazy quilting, that pops. That just pops. It just adds to the dimension of your work. And if this overlaps a little bit, that's okay. If it doesn't, if it's flush with it, then I've done really well because we have the curves here that we're working with too. So this, I'm loving the way this is looking down here. I love this here. This whole process of creating and just kind of getting in the zone. It takes a little bit to get there. Now we've been on live stream for about 46 minutes, and I'm just beginning to feel that I'm getting in the flow of creativity. So it does, it takes a little time, and that's the process. And sometimes I can jump right into it. I don't know, I was thinking about it all night. I was like so happy to be able to be here today to share what I'm doing. I just love it. So I'm gonna have the video going till about, or the YouTube going for another 15 minutes, and then I'm going to I might shut it off and then get a cup of coffee and come back, possibly. I had a video set up with a scheduled time, and the time on YouTube was incorrect. It was reading the wrong time. So, oh, this is beautiful. Look at this. That's gorgeous. That's adorable. That's a pretty pink. That's a pretty blue. I'll be all right. Um, this this is a very, very thin piece, so I think I'm gonna put that there. Um, against a couple of bright colors. This there. Now, if this piece was bigger, which we're getting ready to do, I will be doing probably start this weekend. I will be doing, I want to do a village, Boro inspired, and bring you along. So today I'm here at the artists, Milton Artists Guild. And this kind of was, it wasn't impromptu, but it was like a day planning. So that's why the video today is this here instead of the village. But we're gonna do the village next. When we do, so the bigger pieces, I won't necessarily be cutting these pieces. I'll be working on a quilt 40 by 40 inch. So it will be bigger. So, but here we're working on, let's measure this heart actually. And see what I did with my measure. I want to say it's about 10 by 10. Yeah. Oh, it's 12. Yeah. It's 12 by 12. It's like almost perfectly 12 by 12. So that's wonderful. I mean, it's a good size, but it's not huge. It's not huge. So, that's why some of these pieces I'm cutting. I love this. Look at that red. That's just beautiful. Some of these pieces, if I was shopping for fabric and trying to design something in my head, um, I'm sure it would not come out nearly as beautiful as these pieces come out. It just wouldn't, because these are kind of given to you. I mean, these are like, now there's a lot of pieces. The tinier these pieces are, the more that there are. This is going to be take a little bit more to create. But I want to be careful I'm not just throwing pieces on here either. I do like to have thoughtfulness come through. I don't want it to come through that it's just something I'm throwing together. Now, I have also seen, I'm reaching for these ribbons. I have also seen ribbon remnants put onto pieces. I mean, look at these. Do you want me to look up and smile? Oh, thank you. They just took my picture here at the Artist Guild. So this is Milton Artist Guild in Vermont, and they're going to show my table. They take ribbon, and this is in the crazy quilts. They will take a ribbon, they'll put the ribbon on there too, and just sew it right in. They will take markers, which I didn't bring with me, and put little messages, which I love. I want to make a piece that says love and peace and forgiveness and all of these positive vibes. I want to make one like that. And so here's another pink. This is a fat quarter. And the other thing I pay attention to nowadays is I'm trying to find these shops that if they are creating manufacturing and they're throwing away fabric, I would like to consider them selling me some fabric, because if it doesn't sell in the store, it ends up in the landfill. So now here's a flower. Here's a flower, and here's another flower. So I'm going to put this one here because I think that's just adorable. That's just super cutesy. It doesn't get cuter than that. And just kind of have the fabric with it there a little bit. Going around it. And this is highly therapeutic, which I know y'all know. It's totally therapeutic. And the overlapping I am choosing to do. Like I said, you can spread out your pieces. You can have them if you want right next to each other. It's up to you how you want to. The crazy quilting typically is they're overlapped, but like I said, I've seen them spread out. Which if I didn't see that, I don't know if I would have thought to do that with crazy quilting. And here's another really big piece. And this is a vintage, actually, this right here, this is a vintage piece. Flower is what that is. So I've got one right here. And I think I'm going to put this one over here. And let's see. And this one I already have. Oh, but we didn't get any of these daisies in. So we're going to try to get some of these daisies in. And I'm noticing that I have the darker colors, which I like the contrasting, but I have a lot of blue and I really want more pink. So let's see if we can get some daisies in here. Now I also brought pink thread. So here's the pink, that's a light pink, dark pink, and then I've got white. So we're gonna stitch with those very shortly, because guess what? We're almost done. I actually do like this before I cut this a little piece here. I do like this. It's just not ironed. And when it's that wrinkled, I do like to iron it. However, we will add this here and fill these spaces. We're going to fill those spaces. And I gotta get my pins out now because I want to hold that down. So these pins, and I'm not going to name stores except where I got these pins. These are extra long, or they're long. Not extra long, they're long. And the tips are all different colors, which I love. And I think I paid $2 and something for them for 100. I was at some other stores and I was seeing prices like $6.99, $5.99. So, you kind of want to shop around because these pins, what happens is they bend, they bend. Now, the longer ones here, I can get more fabrics in and at a time. I notice I'm covering up my beautiful flower here. I really don't want to do that. So I guess this is a theme of flowers because you have that one up there. And I like the metaphor of the dark and the light in with a heart, and then a sunflower kind of shining through and another flower shining through because we go through such difficult times in our life. And to have that ray of hope, it's really important to remember that things get better and everything is temporary. I don't think I'm putting the checkers in on this one today. I'm loving this. This is one of my favorite colors. If you've been with me a while, you know that the coral is one of my favorite. And this is a bit, now there's orange coral, there's pink coral. This is an orange coral. There's pink coral, there's purple coral, there's all different hues of corals. And I'm loving this. I'm loving this one right here. And I am cutting it out on that. And I'm going to start tapping into my other complete scrap stash there so we get more crazy shapes kind of jumping out at us. But I do love these colors. So let's see what we have here. We kind of went through a lot of them. Here's another one. This is the color to this one. Not a lot. So I'm kind of really jumping for the color, but sometimes you put something like that in place and it just jumps. It pops. Like this one right here. This pops. That makes the pink pop. So this is really beautiful. I just love this. And and what's happening is some of these are overlapping, which is fine. Really overlapping. But the reason it's totally fine is we're using up these scraps. We are reinforcing our top layer of our quilting piece. So because this is your top layer, your base is your second layer, and then your backing is your third. What reinforces it? There. I don't know. This piece is so tiny. I'm taking away, it just means I'm taking it out and I'll use it for another time. So I've got this odd shape and oops. This is really nice. I like this. I do now look, this one I can even this is blue on white and that side. I could turn it around and use this might be for another piece, the roses there. Oh, here's a piece. This is a pretty yellow too. Now this tiny little scrap, I'm going to cut that off. That's okay. I mean, the difference that we're making in scraps all together is huge. I don't want to cover up here. And I could have, like I said, played with that and have the denim keep showing. Let's see how this red looks. That's very pretty. Let's see how this red looks. That's very pretty. Here's part of that. And because I'm using part of it, I'll use part of it at another time too. I'll save the other. I like that right there. So now I want to show these, some of these really obtuse, jagged edges there. This looks like rain, so I kind of really do want that to, I want to be able to fit that in somehow because I do like it. Like I said, it's like a puzzle piece, so you can play around with creating your puzzles there. Oh, I like that. There's a lot of fabric there, a lot of color popping. Very pretty. Oh, see, there's a piece of denim. There's denim showing. That's not the end of the world if denim is showing. However, you see these going all different ways, and that's what makes it crazy. I love that right there. I love that. That's beautiful. And I'm not necessarily sure if I do want the rain. Let's put that there. That ends up covering the leaf. And these are the colors that, and that's really close together. So I don't know if I want that. I got that hot pink right there. That's looking good. I think what I'm going to do is just simply move this one up. I'm gonna move it up here. Get that flower showing. I think this flower, that's a silk screen. So it's, we got a flower there actually. So I think this piece we never found a place for. I think what I'm going to do, because we didn't include this either, is I'm just going to put this like that. And I've got that little angle there. And so I can move this up. And it's just having fun with the design. Now, you know, creating is really a process where you can spend days thinking, creating, designing, bouncing back and forth from one idea to another. I just love that shape. Now you see we're losing our heart shape, but that's okay because we're going to come back and we're going to be trimming before we do our sewing. I like this, but I don't know if it's, I'm getting a vibe here that I'm trying to capture a certain vibe. So I'm gonna put this here and maybe you can attribute it to the soul, designing from the soul. I'm trying to pay attention to that. And this is why a lot of people they'll design behind the scenes because it just is it lets you get a little bit more into your zone. So now I have these daisies here. So I'm gonna put some daisies up there. I love this piece right here. Some of these pieces you could take and just have them all by themselves be a Boro inspired, like just Sashiko stitch that one design. That is not too far fetched. And I've done that actually. I left that I have a few pieces at home that I have worked specifically that way. So now see, that's really good there. We're going to take the yellow here. And these with the crazy quilting design, they're going all different ways. They're not going in a straight line. So it really tests your creativity because you're going all different ways. And this is the reason because this is going all different ways. So, oh, look, I'm putting the leaf back up there. Okay. So I notice I'm repeating on some of my designs. So that's good because that means that they're going to stay like that. That's how I do want it. This one I'm crossing over there a few different um I really love this purple, but I have it here and here. I have the coral orange here and here, the pinks, and oh, and I have this this is more of a canvas type, and I used this for oh, I didn't, yeah, I did. I made these right here as I showed you earlier, the little hearts. Well, the back there, the backing of it is this fabric. So that's what that is. This is a very pretty, I got a few shapes there. I can play with those shapes a little bit. There, and I kind of have a little flower almost. I'm going to turn that way. And look at that, like a lotus or a tulip. How adorable is that? That's adorable. It's just like drawing with your fabric. This is why I really want to do that village, is I really want to paint, for another way of saying it, um, with my, let's see how this might look. This is scrap. I don't know. I don't know. No, I might, this is a nice, see, that's a nice big piece. I'm going to save that because I may use that for more mug rugs because I have to actually make some mug rugs for this Milton Artist Guild that I'm making things for now. Look, this is a checkered heart that I had in my scrap. Apparently, I cut it out. I'm putting that in there. So, look, you have a few things in here. That's all right. I'm not crazy about this yellow for some reason. Maybe I'll put the heart right. No, I like the heart up here. We'll put the heart there. And this is why artwork is so therapeutic. It's an extension of yourself. It's an extension and expression of your very soul. It is who you are. And that's why it's such a personal thing. I mean, people do, they get very protective of their art. They want to keep it close by. That's the reason, because it's an extension of who they are. And this is very wrinkled, so I don't know if I like that there. Let's see if I have any other shapes here that are different. Oh, I have another heart. Actually, I have some hearts. This is because I was working. I was I test was working. I was I test things out sometimes. I don't throw my hearts away. I keep them. It's another heart. I'm going to actually turn this way. And I'm gonna get, I don't know if that yellow, I want a really pretty yellow there. And, or red. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Yeah, I thought I had some of these. So here, this is, look at this spring green. Look how beautiful that is. That's gorgeous. There's the pink, there's the purple. So yeah, I can use this. And this is kind of scrappy because it's been used. So I'm going to cut that so I can place a piece on here. And I'm going to turn it a funny way, like that. And I'm going to add another piece here. I kind of want that to overlap because I like that. Okay, so look, we are done. Oh, no, we're not. We have this and this. So, I actually did not plan this, but what's happening is with this piece, you're going to look at it. It's going to be the shape of a heart, and in it, you're going to see hearts. So, and you're going to see flowers. So, I did not plan on that, but now that that's occurring, I kind of want to add a few more hearts. So, let's do that. Okay. So, actually, I would like to, but that's okay. We just cut it out. There's our little heart. That's an adorable little heart. And this is actually a very nice shape to take a tiny little area like that of denim that's showing. So you're going from obscure shapes that are complete scrappy type of shapes to some that are a little manipulated because gee, I cut them a little bit, but they're still from a scrap pile. And then to just manipulating a couple of shapes and covering those tiny little spaces, and want these hearts to go different ways now. This is what's coming out of it. This is still a crazy quilt. This is crazy quilting. You will see in crazy quilting, you will see flowers. You will might even see a crocheted square. You might see a textured tree. I mean, you might see forms in your crazy quilting. And I really want to dive deeper into that and share with you some of those types of photos I have found. Now, look, I made the heart, and guess what? I end up with a little scrap again. So I'm going to put that down there. And here's another piece of scrap. I'm going to put that there. And this is going to be, oh, this is going to be a challenge to sew a little bit. And maybe not too bad. But look, I just covered up that piece. And, but that's okay. We got these two little areas to focus on. So you have that going straight across on top of that shape. And that's fine. Oh, but the problem is it's not covering that. Maybe we need a little bit wider piece of fabric. It might be too. I'm thinking I'm gonna move this one there. Move this. Oh, I can't move that one. That's okay. That there. Designing and creating can take quicker with the when I borrow the Kawandi method and I go straight around, I move very quickly. The same with Boro. But this is different and I'm loving it. I'm loving the process. And there's no right or wrongs when you're doing your art. Okay, no right or wrongs. And that's what I love about it. You do it your way. You express it your way. And yes, if you're borrowing someone a historical method, definitely um you want to share that. You want to be like, this is Boro inspired, but doesn't take away from your creativity at all. If anything, it just adds to it. It just shows how creative you are. Because, I was reading like the statistics are like 10% of the people who want to create or who can create or thinking of creating don't. 10%, I'm sorry, 10% do create and 90% do not create. They can't get it to fruition. So whatever it takes, if you're creating something and you're not doing it exactly the way the book says, that's okay. Do it anyway, because that's your creativity. I kind of like that, but I seem to be shying away from it's like, oh, I love this actually. Um, so I got heart here, and I don't need a heart there necessarily, but I guess I'll put one there, and then I'll put one here. So you kind of see hearts within the heart. Um, and yeah, that's just, we just got this one left, and then we are done for the moment. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the cam off because I'm going to go in the back and leave it unattended. So I will turn it off instead of leaving it. It will come with me to get a cup of coffee, and then we'll come back up and I will come back on and we'll stitch this. We'll see how far we get in lifetime of stitching this. But isn't that, because we're going to trim it, it's going to be beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Okay, so I will see you in a little bit.